To tonight's consumer investigation, a big development today following 7 months of News 10 NBC investigations of a troubled nursing home in Charlotte. Today, we learned action is being taken against Waterview Heights Nursing Center. New tonight, News 10 NBC's Deanna Dewberry explains how state and federal health leaders are trying to protect residents.
A temporary manager has been appointed to oversee the facility. Now, this comes less than 2 weeks after the release of an inspection report that calls into question the deaths of 4 residents.
More than a dozen News 10 NBC investigations detail immeasurable suffering at Waterview Heights Rehabilitation and Nursing Center. Residents left lying for hours in their urine and feces, painful, life-threatening bed sores, suffering all documented by Department of Health inspectors. So last year, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services slapped Waterview with this designation, a special focus facility, because it consistently demonstrated failure to maintain compliance with a history of practices that resulted in harm to residents.
If you're a special focus facility, my understanding is you, instead of having an inspection once every 18 months, you have 2 a year.
2 a year, and you have to pass 2 of them to even be considered removal from the list, 2 in a row.
But Waterview Heights failed miserably. In fact, inspectors determined residents were in immediate jeopardy. Earlier this month, the Department of Health released this 113-page inspection report, saying Waterview Heights found Legionella, a possibly deadly bacteria, in multiple water samples dating back to 2024. But the New York State Health Department was not notified. 7 residents got sick, 3 of whom died. All had been in areas where the bacteria was found. The inspection report also says the facility failed to ensure residents at risk of choking received adequate supervision and/or assistance during meals. Then it details the death of resident 308, who was found on the floor, unresponsive in front of the nurse's station, with an excessive amount of soft mush substance coming from their mouth. All violations that led CMS, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, to take action.
They've imposed some civil monetary penalties on the owner, which I think is very warranted. But second is that they've put in this temporary manager.
And that temporary manager also has the ability to hire and fire, correct?
Hire, fire, make staffing decisions.
And that manager will report directly to the Department of Health.
Does it alleviate some of those concerns to know that a temporary manager will be in place?
I do feel better, but until we actually hear from families, it's hard to get a sense of relief yet.
I reached out to the Grand, the owner of Waterview Heights, for a response, and a vice president confirmed the appointment of that temporary manager and said he'd have no further comment. It's important to note that that appointed manager will remain at the facility until the Waterview is in compliance, and the manager has faith that it can and will remain in compliance. Back to you.
Well, if you have a complaint about a nursing home, you are encouraged to file a complaint with the New York State Nursing Home Ombudsman. Say that 5 times fast. We have a link and a phone number in this story on WHEC.com.